Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. No, it's not that one. It's this one. A 2000 and, let me have a look, 12 I think it is. Yeah, 2012 Vauxhall Astra. I think this is the GTC. And couple issues with this thing. We're gonna jump in and I will take you through what they are. So, right. So, the issue I was asked to look at this initially is gearbox related or something along those lines. Yes, this is a automatic. And the second issue, I don't know if I'm going to separate the videos for this, because I think the second issue he asked me to look at is actually a very common issue that's going to be most likely fixed just by replacing a part, but we might have to do our due diligence by do the proper checks to make sure we're not going to replace anything that doesn't have to be replaced. So we're going to tackle here hopefully the first issue on this video, which is the gearbox. So apparently the car is coming up with a fault. Engine light comes on, and when the engine light is on, the car did he say that the car is only on takeoff? When you start from standstill, the car kind of clanks a little bit. Let me start this thing and let me see if the engine light stays on. Yes, it did. So let me take the handbrake, just try to demonstrate this. If he does it, I've seen it doing it, because he left me the car over there, then I moved it to here, so I've seen it doing it. Let's see if he does it now when I engage maybe reverse. No, a lot. Well, not too bad. Let me go a little bit forward. Let me reverse. Okay, so it's not doing it too bad now, but when you select either reverse or gear, it's like you can feel like the gearbox engaging. It doesn't really clank too much, but you can definitely feel it. It's not smooth at all. But when I actually move the car, this clank was actually quite harsh, if you will. It's not doing it that bad now. It's definitely not as bad as it was initially, but I think we're gonna scan the car, even because this car has been already scanned by someone, because he told me that the fault is speed sensor related. I'm not really sure, so let's gonna plug it in, give a scan and go from there. Okay, so let's gonna go to my transmission. To be honest, if there is something wrong inside this transmission, I'm not gonna touch it. Input speed. Performance, low voltage and performance. Low voltage. Okay. Let me just go here. Okay, so we have one that is requested by the gearbox itself, and we have one here. Is the same, well, the description seems similar to the other one, so it might just be that the engine ECU is also reporting the same fault as the gearbox. I think it's the same code. So so the performance one is probably caused by this code, if this is correct. So a low voltage, low input speed sensor circuit, low voltage. So if the voltage gets low into the sensor for some reason, then that means obviously the performance of the sensor is going to be reduced. Now, why is causing that low voltage? We don't know. Could be a bad sensor, could be a wiring, could be many things. First of all, I want to know exactly where that sensor is. The code is passed and failed, so I want to go quickly to my live data and see if I find the live data for this sensor. And here we have a teaser for the next video on this car. But for now, so I found where those speed sensors live data are. When you go into live data on the Max CCs, you have these options here. If you go to TCC data, and then you scroll down a tiny bit. I know it's already here. Huh? Yeah, it's already here. So I believe that's going to be my transmission input speed sensor, and that one is going to be my transmission output speed sensor. So I'm going to select these two, engine speed perhaps as well, and everything else up here looks okay. So pressure control is okay. The TCC sleep mode, TCC sleep speed, and then down here we have saying that my input speed sensor and output speed sensor supply voltage is okay. So if the voltage supply for both sensors are the same, and we either have a bad sensor or we have something else. I don't know yet. And again, if this sensor, I'll have to go and find out if this sensor is if all of this is inside the gearbox. Nah, I'm not gonna touch this. I'm not gonna take this gearbox out, but we're just gonna look at some live data, go for a quick drive and see what we find out, or if there's anything that stands out. Okay, and I just came for a drive, as I said, and I've stopped here because engine light came back on. I cleared the codes before I left home, but the interesting thing is when the engine light came on, what I had was I felt a clank on the car. So the car was just driving normal, and then it clanked, and then the engine light came on, and the clank was right here where you have this sharp raise on the RPMs and etc. So I'm not really sure what happened there, because the car was coming fine, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, and was no like if I pressed my foot down to change gear or anything like that. I was just cruising along, and all of a sudden it did this. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to load some different data to see if there's anything else that stands out. Maybe let me go through this and see if there's any other data feed that will help us to build a better picture of what exactly is going on. And just one more thing, I've just tried it, and now yes, he's doing exactly what I've told you that the owner complained, which is when I go from neutral to drive, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it or feel the car. Yeah, it's a really harsh, yeah, it makes a hell of a noise, and is a really harsh engagement of the drive position. Yeah, it's not very nice. Okay, so let's go and see if I find anything else here that can help us. Okay, so I go back home, and unfortunately the engine light is on, and I could not clear the codes now, and with the engine light on, the gearbox is in limp mode, and I'm guessing that's why you were saying it does that sort of clanking, is when the gearbox is in limp mode. However, so I don't know if you're gonna yeah, it's really, wow, yeah, it's really bad. But Yeah, it's really bad. But live data, unfortunately, I couldn't see anything because the gearbox now on the way home was in limp mode, and it takes off in second or third gear, whatever that is. And yeah, and it did. I think it only has 2 gears or something like that. It was not driving okay. So right, I think it looks like as the engine warmed up, this problem got worse, if you will. So it looks like it's temperature related. So it could be indeed a sensor that is failing under temperature. I don't know. But the fault now, there's only one fault coming up, or was only one fault. Let's go and have a quick look. The one I could not clear. Yeah, so there we go. So when I've showed you the last clip just before, it was about 2 minutes away from here. That was the one, and I cannot clear that code. It just doesn't clear. So right, I'm not really sure what to do, but I think what I'm going to do next is look at some diagrams, see if there's anything. I don't know how this is, if this is a mechatronics inside that controls everything, or if those signals come straight into the module, or if it's all controlled inside the gearbox. I'm not familiar with this, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research before we continue. So yeah, bear in mind with me, and I'll be back soon. Okay, and the soon was actually over a week. Last week was the week I've been to Spa and Nürburgring on that road trip, so I haven't done anything. Yesterday was Sunday, so this was literally over a week. I've touched the car, and there is a couple of things I want to catch up with you before we carry on this, that I've done off camera on that same day, and on the following day, which was Sunday morning. I went for another drive with this. And what I've started to notice is that there is a pattern to this. So with the engine cold, I'm not going to go now because I have all these cars behind, but I don't have to because I've done enough testing. With the engine cold, or while the car is cold, it drives absolutely fine, no problems at all. Gears engage, absolutely perfect, nothing wrong with the car. And as soon as the car in here, there's a little bit of randomness. I don't even know if that's a word. It's a little bit random, because it's not always the same. But as soon as the car starts to pass 50 degrees on the gearbox, oil temperature, I guess, as soon as it starts to get to about 50 degrees, it starts to throw the codes. And at this point, I can clear the codes. The car drives fine until it just goes again. Then I clear the codes. And I would say between 50, 60, 65 degrees, I think only seen it be able to delete the codes once at 65 degrees. Everything else is about 60 degrees. Up to there, I can clear the codes goes away, I start to drive, and it happens again. Sometimes again it changes gears okay 3, 4, 5 times, then it comes with that code. Anywhere above 60 degrees, that's it. That's end of story. As you've seen on the last clip, I can't clear the codes anymore. The codes are permanently in there, and the car doesn't drive. The gearbox goes in limp mode, only engage 2 or 3 gears, and that's about it. Did a little bit of research because I was not familiar with this gearbox. I just want to understand, although they all work very similar, I was under the impression this should have some sort of mechatronics, if you wish, where it does have the ECU, all the speed sensors and all that good stuff, a little bit like the DSG's DQ 200 and 250, similar to those, which it is very similar. So once I understand how the system works, I've realized that all the speed sensors are internally on that mechatronics. There's no sensors outside or anything like that. So I think this is a mechatronics out. So yeah, let me see what we're gonna do. Especially because we don't know where the problem is, so we're gonna have to really dig deep into this. Okay guys, not taking you through the whole shebang, but got the battery out, move things out of the way. I'm trying to get these mechatronics here. Got everything unplugged pretty much. Don't know if I'm gonna have room enough, but we'll see. I hope I don't need to take the coolant pipe and this pipe here, because if I do, it looks like I might need to take the bumper off, and I don't want to get that extreme. Draining the oil as we speak, as you can see there. First thing I've noticed is that this looks like engine oil. It's so black. I don't know if you guys can see how black it is. Look at that. Looks literally engine oil. It does smell gearbox oil though. It does smell gearbox, but yeah. We're gonna drain this and then try to take that mechatronics out to have a better look at it. Okay guys, so the cover is out, and I ended up having to take these pipes for the gearbox oil cooler. So I had to take the pipe right at the back, right there at the back, and right there as well, to pull it a little bit out of the way. I had to take these cables, this earth from here, pull it all the way back, so it gives me room here. But it looks like everything comes out without taking anything else off. And now, wow, to remove this, I have a feeling that is these bolts here. There's about 1, 2, 3. There's a row of bolts here, one in the middle. Oh damn it! I don't think there's anything on the side. At least doesn't look like. So I think it's these 10mm bolts that are for the mechatronics. So that's the ones we're gonna try to pull out, I'm guessing. Right, let's gonna do it. Okay guys, and the thing is literally ready to come out. I left one bolt here at the top so the thing just doesn't fall off. There is 3 plugs, these 2 here. Okay, this green and this blue one. And then there's another one, don't know if you can see it right there. See if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go, that plug's right at the bottom of the mechatronics. There is, so that is 1, and then you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10mm head bolts, and then you have 3, 8 that are actually around the module there underneath that plug. And then you have 1 here that holds these wall assemble here, which is the position for the lever here. Okay, with 1 bolt that holds this plate like so in place. Okay, and now I should be ready to pull these out. Just take that bolt and everything should come out. Okay guys, and it is. So as I said, you have all these bolts here, 12 of them. And then you have 1, 2, 3. Obviously when this is on a car, it's underneath this plug. 1, 2, 3. As soon as you take these off, this just slides out. That's it. Guys, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. I've just tried to go along and try to investigate. We're going to give a good clean to all of this. We're going to measure all the solenoids back here. Make sure everything's good. I don't think this will be the problem, because our problem was just for a speed sensor. I'm going to guess, if you have seen already the video for the Mercedes, I'm gonna guess this is gonna be a similar problem. Don't know why, especially the fact that it's temperature related makes me to believe that it's gonna be a similar problem. And for us to check, it looks like we're gonna have to take this cover, which is where our ECU is. And then we look under the microscope, and fingers crossed, something is visible. Okay, the bolts are out. Will this come out easily, or yes, it does actually. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Is It's exactly what I thought it was. It is exactly what I thought it was, guys. So now what am I looking at? What am I looking at? So the speed sensor, guys, is going to be, it's going to be what? I have to go under the microscope to really look at this. I have to put it under the microscope. Okay, guys, and after a little bit of digging, problem found. Now the issue is going to be fixing it, but I think the odds are not too bad. So the first thing I decided to check was, my line of thinking was, if it is a speed sensor, it's going to be either a 2-wire or a 3-wire sensor. Now, because as you can see, so let me see if I can show you this. Because as you can see, there's no sensors here. So if you know about, as I mentioned earlier, like the DSG gearbox, they have the sensors built in on the actually mechatronics. The sensors just kind of spike out in different locations on the actually mechatronics itself. This one, as you can see, there's nothing here. So my line of thinking was, okay, if there's nothing here, that means the sensors are externally to these mechatronics and they need to plug in here somewhere. How many plugs do we have? We have this one here with 2 sensors, with 2 wires there at the top, and then we have this one here in the middle. But this one in the middle, guys, connects to that top gear selector. So I thought to myself, it's not going to be that one. So either it's going to be that one or it's going to be that one here. We have an input and an output, so I don't know which one is which, but I just, as a hunch, I started to check this one because it was easier. Because this one, guys, I don't have a clue where it's coming. It's going to come here somewhere, obviously, but I don't know where. This one, however, is going to be right there. Look, it's not difficult to see. You have 3 wires there, which is going to be going somewhere on to one of these solenoids or whatever. But then we have this one here. It's going to be these 2 wires there. It's no rocket science to figure that one out. And that's the first one I decided to go. And when I got to it, let me see if I can show you this without stopping recording. Because, let me actually clean this because it's getting filled of oil again. And guys, the sensation of going straight to the problem is really good. I'm wondering if this is a common issue on these boxes or something along those lines. I couldn't really find anything. I found when I was looking for pictures of this to understand exactly what this is, I found that this is usually a mechatronics / gearbox replacement. So replacing this whole thing. But let me just show you this. So where are they? So these are the 2 wires that goes. So let me see if I show you again. So these are the 2 wires right there at the end. Okay, so they come from the PCB. They jump there from the PCB. See if I can show you with the tweezers. So they jump from the PCB here and they go onto these 2 points here, and these points they come to here. Okay. So let me show you this. There he is. So I'm going to try to touch your upper wire first. As you can see, that upper wire is soldered in there. That's going to do the bottom. So tiny. Oh, look at the bottom. Look at that. Can you see that? There we go, guys. There we go. So this was my problem. So with temperature these would start to fail the connection, and eventually would start to go. So there is the problem. Now, how to solder this? Let me think how we're going to do it. I'm gonna have to remove a little bit of this gel, pull it back somehow, and I might just gonna replace the wire with a copper one all the way from the PCB, jump it over, maybe leave that one in there, not really bother with that one, and maybe actually do both. Maybe we'll have to see how it goes. And that's it, guys. That's the problem. There was no other codes, no other errors, so this most likely is going to be the problem. So let's gonna get everything ready, guys. First thing, clean the table, was an absolutely mess. Second, we're gonna have to take this tip because this is a way too big tip for what we are trying to do. So I'm gonna have to use a really tiny one. Which one am I gonna use? Probably this one here. It's the tiniest one I have. It might be too small though. Will it be too small? Maybe that one. It looks like I'm gonna need to buy new tips as well, because these ones are getting a little bit not very good. But yeah, so we're gonna have to obviously get the right tip for this. Let's see if this tip is okay. Too small usually is good, but the heat obviously is a smaller contact surface, and those things in there, they are not that small, so we need a little bit of heat transfer. Oh, come on. So yeah, so what we're gonna do now is a what? Bring it to here and try to get it done. Okay guys, all I'm trying to do at the moment is try to slowly separate these gel. Try to do it without disturbing anything else. And I'm pretty much start to get at the bottom of this. I think I got to this one now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can solder this using jumper wire. I just think this is going to be way too thin probably, and this might be way too thick. Let me see which one I can use. I'd prefer this one. It's a little bit thicker. This is a 0.5 millimeter. A bit too thick, but might be the best option for me. So we're gonna get this ready like so. I don't care if this is too big and comes out of the gel. It doesn't need to be as pretty as that one is, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Oh, this is perfect for this side, but I think I want to do both. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean the other base as well. There we go. Some wires there. Some wires there on the side that I don't want to touch. That's clear now. Yes, it is. It's good. I didn't have to do this other one, but while I'm here, right, I have the phone in front of me. I'm gonna have to move this a little bit, but all we're gonna do now is try to solder 2 jumper wires there, and hopefully that will fix this problem. Okay, it's not pretty. I'll show under the microscope in a bit, but for now, wrong probe. Let's give it a measurement. This is not easy. Right, so let's gonna go to the wire on this side. Beautiful. Another one. Beautiful. Now I'm going to show you under the microscope that the wires are secure and we are ready to close this. So actually, let's not gonna even stop. So I'll just move the phone to here. Get the module. Let me pull my chair. Place the microscope here. Now you guys are gonna look at the screen. Now it's not pretty. I'm not okay, so I need to do it like so. Let me let me move this the other way. Maybe if we look at this in this direction. So that's for the back. Now I want these ones here. Right, so right there is on the PCB. So one wire, the second wire. I'm gonna just try to it's secured. The other one. Yep. They are both. Come on, that way. Is it moving on the board or not? No. And now for the back here, see if I can get both. Yes, I can. There we go. Yep. The other one. Yep. So, guys, I'm going to try to show you the phone. How does it look like? But I'm quite happy with these two jumper wires. One jumper is slightly bigger than the other one, but doesn't really matter. So, as you can see, that's the final result. Now, that's going to pull or push some of these gel just around there, just to make it more even, and I think we have a fix, guys. Okay, guys, and it's ready to close. What I've done is I put a little bit of silicone here, this high temp. Okay, don't really think I had to, but just to kind of hold these things together, so they don't vibrate, whatever. But I think was not really necessary, but I've done it anyway. I've already been in the microscope. I haven't disturbed anything else. You have some more jumper wires there, or frog wires as they called. There's some underneath here as well, in this area. I've checked, I haven't disturbed anything, so it's ready to go back in. Obviously we're going to give it a good clean, seal everything, and put it back on the car, refill it with oil, and hopefully this has fixed the problem. Okay, guys, and now I've cleaned all the surface, everything has been cleaned. We're gonna start to assemble everything back in. There is some this over there. One is there, the other one is there. There we go. I am under the impression you go there. And you go there. That's it. Right, so now it's putting all the screws back in. I'm not sure what the torque is on this, but let me see if I can find some information about the torque on this. Okay, after a little bit of research, I found the torques for this. So everything is put back in, all the bolts are just there, tightened by hand. I'm going to start to torque them down, and these big ones, these long ones, is 10 Newton meters, and the three little ones is 7 Newton meters. One thing I couldn't find is the pattern for tightening this up, but usually on this kind of stuff you start in the middle and you work your way out. So I'm going to start to do the bolts right in the middle, and then I'm going to do my way up and my way down, and I'll do it like that. I don't know if that's the correct procedure to do it. That's how I'm going to do it, and if you like it, oh well, it should work. But yeah, so we're going to do that because later I need new oil for this. I'm not going to reuse the oil, obviously, but I need to take that TIG one to the MOT in no time, and when I go to do that, on my way back, I'll get the oil for this. So hopefully we'll finish these off today. And that's it. So I'm going to torque these down, then we'll put the cover back in, The cover is 12 Newton meters for you guys that want to know. Then we'll put all these pipes back on, etc, etc. We're gonna refill this through that hole, which is the hole for the breather. Okay, that's where we're gonna refill it. And the way I'm gonna do it is I'm not gonna do it by the level. I'm just gonna measure how much oil I removed, and I'm gonna put the same amount of new oil back in. So all of these now I don't need to take you through, guys. It's literally just tight bolts and put everything back on. Okay, and that's gonna do one last pass before everything is tied up. I'm just gonna double check. Okay, just make sure I haven't missed any bolt. Obviously now I'm not gonna follow in any sequence because I already did that, although it was my own sequence. Maybe I got it right actually, but just double check. Oops, I haven't missed any bolts. Looks like I didn't. Okay, let's just now the smaller ones, which is a little bit less. There's only 3 bolts for that. That's it. Okay, now we are going to do the cover. I've just cleaned the cover. It's just drying up a little bit, and then we'll put the cover back in. The cover is 12 Newton meters. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to start to torque the cover. As I said earlier, the cover is 12 Newton meters, and these guys is the sequence. In case if you guys are interested, found the sequence for this. If I would search a little bit further, I probably would find the sequence for the actually valve body, but doesn't really matter. That's done now. And yeah, so let's kind of finish this off and then reassemble everything. Okay, and just got back home from MOTing that Tiguan. That belongs to a lady that works in there where I work as well. Anyway, so the days now are not that long anymore, so it's already dark, and all I'm going to do today is literally putting the oil. So I have the oil here. I got 7 liters. The box should take somewhere between 5 and 7, but as I said to you, all I'm going to do is measure how much I got out, and that's how much I'm going to put in, and we'll do it. The light just gone off. Hold on. And I'm going to do all of that before I put the battery tray, etc., because the hole is right there, and once I put the battery tray I will not have access to that. So we're going to fill the gearbox, put the oil in, and then I guess it's going to be tomorrow that we're going to give it a test drive, because today is too late. But I'm quite confident that we fixed the problem, and see how we go. So let's kind of finish this for today, and then tomorrow I will catch up with you. Okay guys, following day, and we are about to go and test this thing. I just plugged in the Maxi-Cs. Maxi-Cs should be putting up now, ready to clear the codes and go for a drive. Couple things. Yes, I did start the car yesterday and got it up to temperature while I was putting all the tools away. Started fine, went all the way up to the 90 degrees. It's been running here for about 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. Fine, no warnings on the dash, but I haven't drove the car. However, I tried to engage reverse and drive, engage it fine, no more clanking, but that was just here without even driving the car, which means the gearbox probably didn't really got up to temperature because it didn't drove at all. So today we're going to go for a drive. And another quick thing as well, which I mentioned at the start of the video, that might would make into a different video, which was the coolant warning light. While I had the battery tray out, I should have recorded it, but I didn't. While I had the battery tray out, I did a quick check, and the sensor itself was broken. So the sensor just twists and comes off, and then it does have a magnetic sort of switch, if you wish, and one of the solders on that was kind of broken. So I just resoldered all of that and seemed fine. I think that was the issue. Put everything back on, and warning didn't came on yesterday while it was here idling, but today is going to be the real test. So we're going to go for a drive this for as long as we need to until we are 100% sure that the problem is fixed. So I'm going to close the garage, get this thing started. Actually, I'm not going to start it just yet. I just want to go through the codes that probably are going to still there, and clear the codes, and go from there. Okay, and the gearbox actually contains no codes, which is good. Let's just gonna go quickly to the engine. No fault codes detected. Well, that's good. So actually, let me stay there. Let's start this thing now. Okay, so as you can see, there is no warning lights at all. A bit of glare. Obviously, just started it, as I said. This was more coming up when the car was actually warmed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load some live data here, especially the temperature, because I want to see what happens. But yeah, we're going to go for a drive, and then I'll get back to you when I get to some conclusions. Okay, so far so good. Car is driving fine. Unfortunately, I don't have much fuel. I had 40 miles range when I left home. I need to leave at least about 8 miles so the guy can pick up the car from my place. At the moment we have, well, TCM temperature and transmission fluid temperature are pretty much the same. Well, they've been pretty much all the same. It's a 54 degrees. That's when I would start to have problems, was around these temperatures. 55 now. This was the temperature when I would start to get issues. So far so good. So we're gonna carry on driving and hope that this is fixed. So let's carry on. Okay guys, and I'm now driving for nearly 35 minutes. I have the transmission, fluid temperature and transmission and TCM temperature, so the fluid and the module itself, they are both at around 75-76 degrees. Before, at this point, the car was completely undrivable. It was just in limp mode, was clanking, engaging gears as I've showed you. I'm just going to stop here now for a little bit, and I'm just going to show you that. Actually, let me take the phone away so I can actually show you this. So I'm in drive. I just stopped. I'm going to put in neutral. Now I'm going to put in reverse. Fine. Going reverse. Now drive. Absolutely perfect. As you can see in there, 76 degrees the transmission fluid, and TCM temperature 77. By this time before, guys, well before these temperatures, the car was already behaving. As I said, between 60 and 70, that's when the codes would come back or would stay on, and the car would just, I couldn't clear the codes, etc, etc. So we are well above that, those temperatures. And guys, it's driving absolutely perfect. I dimmed this as a fix, and in the end was just, as you've seen, guys, was one of those frog wires that were broken, difficult to see until you touched it, as you've seen as well on the camera, on the microscope, but that was the issue, and I'm really happy that we found it and that we could resolve it. Only one quick thing about that is the wire, the jumper wire I've used was a little bit too thick. I only have two measurements, two sizes at home at the moment. I have 0.1 millimeters, and I have the one I've used, 0.5. I want to get something between, because for something like this, the 0.1 was probably too thin, and this 0.5 is probably a little bit too thick. So I'm definitely going to get something like 0.3 or something like that, something in between, for jobs like this. But guys, and another quick thing as well is, guys, for you to actually manage to solder where those aluminum wires are spot welded, if you wish, you need to, with the tip of the tweezers, you need to scrape the surface a little bit, otherwise the solder will not grab. Something that I forgot to mention, I had to do that as well. And yeah, I think that's it really, nothing else to say. And as you can see now, we are at 77 and 78, nearly 80 degrees, and we're gonna drive back home and wrap up this video. But guys, this is 100% a fix, so that's gonna go. Okay, back home, and yeah, we are now at about 79 degrees. Unfortunately, I cannot drive any longer because just before I stopped, the clip before, the car was showing 20 miles range, and all of a sudden that started flashing the fuel light, and now I have no range. The car doesn't show any range, so I can't really drive any longer. But guys, it's driving fine, absolutely perfect. As I said, by this time the car was completely messed up already, and so far so good. So I think this is a fix, and now we're gonna work on that Jeep. Don't know if that's gonna make into a video or not. This came back for a completely different problem than the one last time. We'll see what's gonna happen. But guys, for this video, is fixed. So with no further ado, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I do hope you learned something. Who knows? If you do still have any questions, any comments, you guys know exactly how it works. Just put them right below. And like always, thanks for watching.